Hey guys, if you're watching this, obviously you've already bought our Seaside Home Wine Tasting Kit. Now, you don't have to live by the sea or be by the sea right now to be having this wine tasting, but this is a great summer wine tasting to do. So hopefully you've gathered some of your friends around, you've got our wines out, and you've got some of our crackers there that come with this, and you've got some of our dip. Now, if you haven't made the dip yet, go make the dip now. Push pause, start the wine tasting after that, because this dip is awesome. And what it is, it's our pineapple habanero sauce that we make here. You take a whole jar of that to a pound of cream cheese, mix that together in a mixer, and you get this fabulous dip that you dip these homemade crackers in, because we make those here too. And when I say here, if you've never been to our wineries, we got two of them. We got one winery in Rose Hill, North Carolina, and the other winery is in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So I appreciate you guys doing these virtually, but we want to see you here too. You guys come down, see us, we want to meet you, you meet us. So as soon as you can, get back on the road, come on down and see us. But let's get started, guys, okay? So we're going to start, and you've got your wine tasting sheet here. So grab that, and we're going to start with our driest white, which is our summertime Strut. Now, if you're a dry wine drinker and you like a Chardonnay or a Pinot Grigio, I think you're really going to like this wine. This is a blend of our Carlos Muscadine grapes and a grape called the Doreen Muscadine grape. And it's going to only be like about a 0.3% sugar content. So this is going to be a very dry, crisp wine. If you're looking for something dry, this is definitely for you. If you smell it, you're going to smell those muscadines, but it's going to surprise you that it doesn't have that bold muscadine taste like some of our other wines do. So let's give that a taste. Leave that on your tongue for a minute. You get a bit of that fruity muscadine taste without the sweetness. So if you're a dry wine drinker, this is definitely one for you. If you're not, you've got this in your package. What you can do with this is cook with it. I love shrimp. I like to take about a cup of this, a little bit of garlic that I mince up, some butter, put that in a pan, then throw those shrimp in there. It's amazing, okay? You can eat that as just an appetizer or throw it over some angel hair pasta and you got a little pasta dish there. Easy to do, and it's just great, I'm telling you. So let's go to something a little bit sweeter. We're gonna go to about a mid-sweet, and this is called our Midnight Magnolia. And this is made with a Magnolia muscadine grape. This one's about a 6.5 to 7% sugar content. And look at the clearness of that. I mean, that is just, it's a beautiful color on this wine too. Now it's going to be a semi-sweet, so if you're someone who likes a Riesling, it's a great wine for you. Again, you smell that muscadine in there, even more so than you did in the summertime Strut. You get a little bit more of that muscadine taste also. And with that taste, you come to that sweetness at the beginning of that. On the finish, you get a little bit of what the muscadine skins taste like. If you've ever had a muscadine, the flesh of the muscadine is very sweet. The skin tends to be a little bit tart. You get a little hint of that tartness on the finish of this wine. As we go along down here, once you get to Hatter's Red, you get a lot of that. And we'll talk about that when we get there. But that's our Midnight Magnolia. It's one of our estate wines. If you've never had an estate wine, what that is, that means we grow the grapes. So we as a Duplin winery, we grow those grapes. We got about 50 to 60 actual farmers who grow grapes for us also. But if you get one of our estate wines, those grapes are grown by us. The other thing about an estate wine is the fermentation on that is a cold fermentation. It's a 52-degree fermentation. It gives it a little bit smoother finish than some of your other wines that we make. Our other wines, they are fermented somewhere between 65 to 72 degrees. So that cold fermentation gives you a little bit smoother finish. But that's going to bring us to our sweet white, one of our sweet whites, and this is called Bryce's Creek. This wine, if you just like a smooth, cool, sweet wine, go for Bryce's Creek. Now what this is actually a blend of not only some of our muscadine wines that we use. This actually has a grape in there called Niagara. Now, if you ever had any wines from upstate New York, say like the Finger Lakes area, a lot of those wines, they use the Niagara. It's a sweet non-muscadine grape. And when you blend those together, that muscadine and that sweet non-muscadine Niagara, it's some of my favorite wines we make here, honestly, is those blends of some of the muscadines and the non-muscadines. Again, you smell that muscadine, but you get a hint of that Niagara in there too. Let's give it a taste though. Yeah, that sweetness on there, you get that muscadine taste, but you honestly get more of that Niagara taste in that. The Niagara taste is what you taste first. On the finish, you get a little bit of that muscadine taste. That is easily one of my top favorite 5 wines. That's Bryce's Creek. Now we're going to go back to our dries, and we're going to start with our driest red. This is called Burgundy. Now Burgundy is actually a wine made out of the noble muscadine grape. And we get our drier wines to be as dry as they are. We pick them a little bit earlier in the season than some of our other grapes. So when you pick them earlier in the season like that, what you end up getting is less sugar in those grapes. So say you waited till they were completely ripe, you're going to get a lot more sugar in those, and that's how you get your Hatteras Red or your Bryce's Creek. Those are just riper grapes. So this is our Burgundy. This one reminds me a little bit of a Pinot Noir, maybe a Merlot, but I go more towards a Pinot Noir because it has a little bit of a fruity taste, and it's a little bit sweeter than, say, a Merlot or a Cabernet. But the taste on it, here we go. If you leave that on your tongue a minute, you're going to get that muscadine taste without the sweetness. The Burgundy, personally myself, I don't chill it. So if you've got a bottle of this, you've already chilled it, sit it out for a day or two. Try it at room temperature. I actually like it personally better at room temperature. I think it brings out the flavor of that grape a little bit more. So give that a try. If you don't like dry reds, another good one to cook with. If you want to take a bottle of that and either you can use a rump roast, any kind of beef roast, pour that whole bottle over that beef roast, let it marinate overnight, throw that in a crock pot with some onions, garlic, throw some carrots in there, whatever you like in your pot roast. Let that go for a whole day, 8 hours to 10 hours, something like that. It's awesome. At the end of the day, you're going to have a very tender piece of beef. It's going to have a little bit of that fruity muscadine taste in there. And then you can make a gravy, pour that over some roasted potatoes. It's a great, easy meal to do. We're going to go a little bit sweeter on our next one. This is called Pelican Red. This is going to be an 8 to 9% sugar content. And this is another blend. This has some of our red wine grapes in there, or red wine muscadine grapes, but it's also got a grape called the Pink Catawba. And when we were talking about the Niagara, you find a lot of the Pink Catawba grapes growing in that same area. Upstate New York, Finger Lakes area, a lot of those Finger Lakes wines, they use the Pink Catawba for some of their reds. So this is a blend of those two, called Pelican Red because in Myrtle Beach, where we are, we have a baseball team there called the Myrtle Beach Pelicans. They wanted to pair with us, partner with us, and they wanted us to make a wine just for them that they could sell there at the stadium. This is what we came up with. So again, this is about an 8 to 9% sugar content, so it's not the sweetest wine we have. Again, that blend of the muscadine and that non-muscadine, you get some of that muscadine taste in there, but you taste that Pink Catawba also. Again, some of my favorite wines are some of those that we blend with some of those non-muscadines. Check that one out, definitely. We sell it at our retail store there in North Myrtle Beach and Rose Hill and at the Pelican Stadium. So if you're down there for a baseball game, watching a baseball game, pick up a bottle of that or a glass of it while you're there. That brings us to our Hatteras Red. Now, if you ever had our wine, I guarantee you've had Hatteras Red. It's the easiest to find. We sell it in all the grocery stores that we sell in. It is a blend of couple of our different muscadine grapes. It is sweet. You're looking at about a 10% sugar content on that, 10 to 10.5. You smell it though. If you've ever been walking through the woods as a kid in the southeast and you've smelled those muscadines coming through the air, because a lot of times you'll find them on the vines just hanging there. Some will be mushed closed, or they're, you've just got that smell in the air. That's what this reminds me of. So let's give this a taste. Leave that on your tongue for a second. You're going to get that sweet. But then on the finish of that, you're going to get that tart that I was talking about earlier. And that, to me, is the one that really brings out that skin taste in the finish. So if you ever pop one of those in your mouth, the grape itself, and you bite into that, first thing you get is that sweet taste, just like you did with the wine. The second thing you're going to get, if you chew on those skins, is that a little bit of that tart skin taste. That's your finish on this. So this one, to me, I grew up in North Carolina, reminds me of walking through the woods, picking those right off the vine, popping them in my mouth and eating them. Now, a lot of people, they'll pop it into their mouth and just eat the flesh and throw the skin on the ground. I don't recommend that. I recommend if you ever find one, pop the whole thing in your mouth, chew it up, you'll love it. So that's going to bring us next to our Scuppernong Blush. Now, this is another, it's going to be not quite a mid-sweet. It's more of a sweet, and it's going to be about 10% sugar content on this. So this is your Scuppernong Blush. It's not the sweetest wine we make, but it's getting up there. And what this is a blend of our Scuppernong grapes and our Noble Muscadine grape that was in the Burgundy. Now, if you've never had a Scuppernong, the Scuppernong is a Muscadine grape. It's a little bit different in color than most of your Muscadine grapes. So most of your Muscadine grapes, they're going to be more of a deep, dark purple. Your Scuppernongs tend to be gold in color. And then right around where the stem goes in, you get like little purple dots. Almost looks like freckles. They're a lot bigger also. So most of your Scuppernongs, you're going to find they're about the size of a quarter up to about the size of a silver dollar. Where most of the others are anywhere between like the size of a dime to about the size of a nickel. So Scuppernongs, you'll find those in people's backyards. A lot of people, they actually grow these in their backyards. Where I live, I got 3 or 4 neighbors that grow these in their backyard, and they just eat them all summer long or make jellies out of them. Some make wine. But this is our Scuppernong Blush. Again, you get that smell, that muscadine smell. So sweet. Let's give this one a taste. Yeah, that Scuppernong taste also has a little bit different taste than some of the other muscadine grapes. It's a little bit more tart, but it is very sweet on the beginning of that wine. That finish is a little bit of that tart finish. Now, if you're looking for health benefits for drinking wine, Scuppernong Blush is our #1 in resveratrols. Resveratrols are the antioxidants in there. So if you're looking for health, go with the Scuppernong Blush. And the taste is awesome too. Now we're coming to Goin Coastal. This, by far, is my personal favorite wine that we have because this blends 4 different types of grapes. This has a blend of our red muscadine grapes, a blend of our white muscadine grapes, and then it also has that Niagara that we had in the summertime, in the Bryce's Creek, and then also the Pink Catawba that we had in the Pelican Red. So it's all 4 of those blended together. You got some northern and some southern grapes in there. So it's that north and south coming together and just getting along. And I'm telling you, it's a great taste in your mouth. So let's try this one. Oh my gosh. I could and I have drank a couple bottles of that, in a long night, sitting out on the porch. It sneaks up on you. It is so sweet and so tasty that you don't even realize that you're drinking wine. So be careful with that one, I'm telling you. Just be careful with it. But it is a great, great wine called Goin Coastal. And again, we came up with this one when we first opened in North Myrtle Beach. We wanted a wine just to be our signature wine there in North Myrtle Beach. So we came up with this blend, and we called it Goin Coastal because we were coming from Rose Hill, North Carolina, which is farmland, to the coast. So there you got Goin Coastal. Great wine, my favorite. Get it as cold as you can. The colder this one, the better. So our next wine that we're going to try is our red sangria. Now, if you've ever had a sangria, I'm sure you've gone to the store, bought fruit, put the fruit in there, let it soak for a couple days so you get those fruit tastes in there. Well, we want to make it easier for you. So we've added some fruit flavorings to our red wine grapes. So this is a blend of some of our red wine grapes, our muscadine red wine grapes. Then we've got some peach, mango, lemon, lime, and strawberry flavor in there. Now, the Sangria Red, to me, I get more of the taste of that strawberry and maybe a hint of peach, but I get more of the strawberry taste in this. I can even smell strawberry in this when I take a sniff. So take a sniff of that and see what you think. Give it a taste. The strawberry is what comes out right away to me. I get a hint of the peach, mostly strawberry, and then you get that muscadine at the end. This is a great wine. Get it really, really cold. Put it in a punch bowl. Add your own fruit. I really like to add some extra some real fruit strawberries in there, and then some banana also. I love a little bit of banana and strawberry in there. It makes a really, really great drink. And then afterwards, you can eat the fruit, and the fruit's excellent with that wine a little bit soaked in there. Now that's going to take us to our final wine that we're going to try right now. And this one, this is called Sweet Poppy. So your Sweet Poppy, what this is, we've got a line of, we'll call them sparkling wines. They got a little bit of effervescence in there, all right? So give this a pour, and you're going to see those bubbles on the top there. So what this is a blend of some of our red wine muscadine grapes. And we make that here. And here in Rose Hills where we make our wine, but we don't have a way to actually add that effervescence. So what we do is we ship this all the way up to Naples, New York. They put that in there for us and send it back to us. And then it's bottled there, sent back to us, and right to your home. So let's give this a smell. That one, to me, I smell strawberries in there. I really do. Some people say they taste a little bit of strawberry, raspberry. I smell the strawberry more than anything. That's great. You get that effervescence on your tongue. You get the taste afterwards. The great thing about these sparkling wines that we have, if you ever have mimosas, you can make mimosas. With the Sweet Poppy, I like to add a little bit of pineapple juice to that. So take pineapple juice, put a little bit of that in your glass, and then fill the rest of it with that Sweet Poppy, and it's a great mimosa on a morning when you don't have to go to work. You're just sitting around, you're going to have like a little mini brunch with whoever you're with. It's a great drink to have with that. So that's all of our wines, but I do have one more thing I want you to try. And what this is our Berry Bliss Sweetzer. Now, you're probably saying, Frank, what the heck is a Sweetzer? Well, it's a wine slushie, okay? We call them Sweetzers because they're sweet. So there you go, Sweetzers. They're awesome. They're iced slushies is what they are, wine slushies. So let's give this a taste, and I'll tell you how to make these in a minute. That is awesome. That one has kind of a strawberry taste to it. I know I've talked about strawberries about 3 times, but this one really brings out that strawberry taste. And the way you make these, in this pack, there are 2 foil packs inside of here. You take one of those packs, and what it looks like Kool-Aid. So you take one of those packs, mix it with a half a bottle of wine, whatever it calls for. And this one actually calls for a Burgundy, so you've got the Burgundy, so you can make one of these. Mix that up, make sure that is all diluted together. Pour that over a blender full of ice, blend it up, and this is what you got. You've got a nice wine slushie. The nice thing about these, you got 2 packs in here. You can make 1 pack with alcohol. If you got kids who are underage, you can make the other pack either with grape juice. We have a non-alcoholic wine that we sell. One of those 2 things, it's great for kids too when you do the non-alcoholic. I've got a niece, and what we do is we'll go down to the lake, we'll take one of ours, our alcoholic ones, and then we'll take one for her so she can enjoy those, and she loves them, I'm telling you. Well, that's our Seaside pack of wine tasting. So we're going to stop on that. But again, guys, come down, see us at one of our wineries, either our Rose Hill location or our North Myrtle Beach location, because we want you to come in. We want to meet you, talk to you. We want you to sit down and do a wine tasting. If you come to Rose Hill, you can eat in our bistro for lunch, then do a wine tasting afterwards, or do the wine tasting first, however you want to do it. But come on down and see us. But thanks for joining us today. I hope you guys had an awesome time. I know I did. Cheers.